the arrival of the invasion. The night sky over Earth was calm, stars shining like tiny lanterns. No one on the ground knew that their world was about to change forever. Children slept in their beds, families laughed inside their homes, and soldiers stood guard at their posts. Above them, hidden in the dark, shadows moved far beyond the clouds. An alien fleet arrived in silence. Hundreds of massive ships floated together, their metal bodies glowing faintly in the darkness. They had crossed the stars with one goal: to conquer Earth. To them, this blue planet was only another prize, another weak world to add to their empire. Inside the flagship, the alien commander stood tall. His armor was sharp and decorated with the marks of many victories. His soldiers cheered, their voices echoing in the ship's halls. They believed Earth would fall quickly. They believed humans were fragile, simple creatures who could not fight back. The commander raised his clawed hand and spoke. His voice was filled with pride. "This world will be ours before the next sunrise," he declared. His soldiers roared in agreement. They had no fear, no doubt, only arrogance. As the fleet moved closer, Earth satellites detected the intruders. Screens lit up in control rooms. Alarms rang and officers shouted warnings. In hidden bunkers, generals studied the signals. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were sharp. They knew this day would come. They had waited. They had prepared in cities across the world. People looked up at the sky as strange lights appeared. First it was one, then many, glowing dots moving in formation. Some thought they were meteors. Others thought they were shooting stars. But when the dots grew larger and larger, fear spread. The first alien ships entered the atmosphere. Their engines screamed like thunder. Shaking the ground below, windows shattered. Animals ran wild. People screamed. The invaders did not hide. They wanted humanity to see them. They wanted humans to feel small and powerless. Columns of light cut through the clouds as alien dropships descended. They landed on highways and farmlands and near cities. Alien soldiers marched out, tall, armored, and armed with weapons that glowed. Their eyes scanned the humans with cold amusement. Some humans froze, some ran. Some fell to their knees. The aliens laughed. They saw no danger. To them, Earth was already conquered. One soldier picked up a human child's toy from the street and crushed it in his hand. Another raised his weapon and fired into the air. Showing his strength, the humans scattered like birds. But not everyone ran in the shadows of the city. Small groups of humans watched silently. Their faces were hidden, their bodies ready. They did not scream, they did not cry, they waited. The alien commander looked down from his flagship. He saw the panic, he saw the chaos, and he smiled. To him, this was victory. Earth had fallen without even a fight. His soldiers sent messages back to him. Resistance is weak. No threat detected. They mocked the humans, calling them animals, yet something felt strange. The commander noticed that the humans who ran left behind empty streets, dark buildings, and abandoned cars. It looked too clean, too quiet. He dismissed the thought. Believing fear had broken the humans, he did not know that silence on Earth was never safe. Far below, in a mountain bunker, human generals watched everything. They did not speak much, only nodding to each other. One whispered, "They have landed," another replied, "Now it begins." The world above may have looked broken, but in the darkness, Earth's heart was steady. The aliens spread across the land, setting up camps, destroying defenses, and broadcasting their victory to the stars. They laughed at Earth's weakness. They cheered as cities burned. Yet every step they took was being watched. Every move recorded. Unseen eyes followed them from forests, from rooftops, from tunnels under the ground. The invasion had begun. But the war was not what the aliens expected. Earth had not surrendered. Earth had not given up. Earth was waiting, and when Earth waits, it waits like a hunter waits for prey. Silent, patient, and deadly. The commander looked at the planet from orbit. Pride filling his chest, he believed Earth was already his. He believed no one could resist his army. He did not know that before long, his soldiers would vanish, his ships would burn, and his empire would learn the truth. No one ever returns from Earth. The easy victory. The alien soldiers marched proudly through the streets. Their armor glowed under the broken lights of the city. They crushed everything in their path, cars, walls, and even statues. To them it was not war. It was a parade of victory. Civilians cried as they were dragged from their homes. Alien commanders broadcast their triumph in every language, promising peace under their rule. They told humans to kneel, to accept their fate. Some humans obeyed, trembling in fear. Others stared with silent anger, but said nothing. The alien commander in orbit received endless reports of success. Cities taken, defenses destroyed, humans scattered, his officer said with joy. The commander laughed, his sharp teeth glinting. Pathetic creatures, he muttered. They are weaker than I thought. In less than a day, alien flags were raised over many capitals. The invaders filmed themselves standing inside human palaces. They mocked human leaders, declaring them cowards who had run away. In their arrogance, they failed to notice the quiet streets, the empty roads, the silent skies. For the aliens, silence meant fear. For humans, silence meant planning. Alien soldiers broke into military bases and laughed at the small weapons they found. They smashed rifles against walls, calling them toys. They burned tanks and aircraft, saying they were useless against their advanced machines. They sent these images across the galaxy, boasting of their easy victory. Crowds of alien soldiers filled public squares, dancing and shouting. They celebrated as if the war was over. The commander ordered feasts, and his troops drank and ate stolen food from human stores. They sang their victory songs, their voices rising into the night sky, but far away from the lights of the cities. In the forests, in the deserts, and deep underground, humans watched. Their eyes were cold, their faces covered in dirt and shadows. They carried no flags, they shouted no words, they waited. The alien leaders could not understand the humans. Why did the survivors not beg for mercy? Why did no leaders come forward to surrender? Why were there no mass crowds asking for safety? The silence felt strange, but pride blinded them. On the second day of the invasion, alien patrols moved into the countryside. They expected to find weak villages, easy targets. Instead, they found empty streets, doors swinging in the wind, and fields with no farmers. The humans had vanished. The aliens laughed again. They run like rats, they said. Let them hide. It will not save them. They searched the houses, smashing furniture, taking food, but they found no humans. Only the echo of their own footsteps followed them. In the cities, some humans still lived in fear. Hiding in basements or in shadows, they listened as alien soldiers mocked them. They listened as soldiers fired weapons into the air, laughing as if Earth were only a stage for their power. Yet even the most frightened humans noticed something. The invaders were loud, careless, and too confident. By the third day, alien generals declared the invasion complete. Earth belongs to us, they shouted. We will build our new empire here. They sent messages to other worlds, inviting them to witness the conquered planet. Their arrogance spread across the stars, but in their pride they did not see the truth. Their easy victory was only the surface. Below the surface, in tunnels, in bunkers, in hidden bases, humanity was alive. Humanity was not broken. Humanity was waiting. A young alien soldier sat at a fire in the ruins of a park. He laughed with his friends, holding a human book in his claw. Look at this, he joked. They waste time writing stories, no wonder they are weak. The others laughed, throwing the book into the fire, but in the shadows, unseen eyes watched them burn it, silent and patient. Another alien unit tried to explore a subway tunnel. Their lights flickered as they went deeper. They found nothing, only broken tracks and the smell of dust. Yet when they returned, half their group was gone. They never reported what they saw because they never came back. The commander ignored these small losses. Accidents, he said. Foolish soldiers. He cared only for the glory of conquest, not the whispers of fear among his troops. He did not know the whispers would grow louder. He did not know his easy victory was a trap. Because on Earth, silence is never weakness. It is the calm before the storm. The aliens celebrated their conquest, raising their flags higher, shouting to the stars, but above them, hidden satellites turned their eyes. Underground machines powered on. Silent hands gripped weapons forged in secret. The invasion had only just begun. The easy victory was only an illusion. And soon, the aliens would learn that Earth never forgives. Earth never forgets, and no one who invades Earth ever returns. The first mystery. The alien empire believed their conquest was complete. They marched through Earth's streets with no fear. Their banners waved in the smoke-filled air. Their commanders spoke proudly to their fleets in orbit. They thought the humans had been broken, but strange reports began to arrive. At first they seemed small, unimportant. One patrol failed to report back from a ruined highway. Another squad went missing in a forest outside the city. Their radios went silent, no calls for help. No signs of battle, only silence. The alien commander frowned when he heard the first report. "Send more soldiers," he ordered. He thought it was nothing. Perhaps human survivors hiding in the dark. Perhaps the missing patrols had simply gotten lost. His arrogance blinded him. Another day passed, and more units went missing. Sometimes entire groups of 20 or 30 soldiers vanished. Their weapons were found broken. Their vehicles burned, but there were no alien bodies. Only the mark of fire and shadows. Alien officers grew uneasy. Soldiers whispered to each other in their camps. They said humans were hunting them. They said humans moved like ghosts, striking in the dark and leaving no trace. One soldier swore he saw a pair of human eyes glowing in the night before his friend disappeared. The commander silenced these rumors. He shouted at his troops, calling them cowards. He reminded them of their strength, of their victories across the galaxy. "Humans are weak," he declared. "Do not let fear poison you." His voice was strong. But even he felt a small chill in one city. A group of aliens entered an old hospital. The halls were empty. Their boots echoed on the tile floors. They laughed at the broken machines and shattered windows. But as they moved deeper inside, the lights flickered, and one by one the soldiers vanished. Their screams echoed, but no one saw who or what took them. When the rescue squad arrived, the hospital was empty. Another squad disappeared in a subway tunnel. They had been ordered to map the underground. Their last message was a cry for help. Then silence when the aliens searched the tunnel. They found strange human symbols painted on the walls in red. It was not paint, it was blood. Fear began to spread faster than orders. The soldiers who once laughed now watched the shadows. They jumped at every sound. Some refused to enter buildings. Others refused to patrol at night. They whispered that Earth itself was alive, swallowing them whole. Still, the commander sent more troops. Still, he believed in easy answers. But each time, his soldiers never returned. Far beneath the surface, humans watched from hidden bunkers and tunnels. Their plans were working. They struck in silence, then vanished again. They never fought an open battle. They hunted like wolves, leaving the invaders terrified. The humans did not shout victory. They did not show themselves. They only left behind ruins and whispers. By the end of the week, hundreds of alien soldiers were gone. The commander smashed his claws against the wall in anger. He demanded answers from his officers, but they had none. "We see no enemy," one admitted. "Only shadows," the commander growled. "There are no shadows, there are only humans, weak and broken. They hide because they are afraid." But his own soldiers no longer believed him. They had seen too much, heard too much. In one camp, an alien soldier woke screaming. He swore humans had entered his dreams. He said he saw them standing over his bed, their faces pale and their hands dripping with blood. He begged his commander to leave Earth. He was executed for cowardice. Yet even his death did not kill the fear, it only made it grow. The aliens were an empire built on conquest. But on Earth, their pride was turning into dread. They no longer looked at humans as weak animals. They began to see them as hunters, as predators. The streets, the forests, the tunnels, every shadow felt dangerous. The commander tried to tighten his control. He sent more troops to search, to crush resistance. But every new unit sent into the dark came back smaller. Or not at all, one alien officer whispered quietly to another. "This planet is cursed," he said. "No one returns." And above them, in hidden bunkers, human leaders spoke calmly. They had no need to shout, no need to rush. They had time. Earth was theirs. And the invaders were already bleeding. The mystery had begun, and the aliens did not understand it. They had come to conquer, but instead they were being hunted. And in the silence of Earth's nights, the first seeds of terror began to bloom. The trap revealed. The alien commander's patience was running thin. Every day more soldiers vanished. Every night more units went silent. He pounded his fist against the metal table of his war room. "Enough of this nonsense," he roared. "I want the humans crushed." Not whispered about, his officers saluted. But their eyes betrayed doubt. New orders were sent. Larger forces began sweeping through the cities and forests. No more small patrols. This time entire battalions marched together. Their vehicles rumbled down highways, their weapons ready. They believed overwhelming numbers would end the mystery. At first it worked. For hours, nothing happened. The aliens mocked the fear of their comrades. "See," they laughed, "there are no ghosts, only shadows." But then the ground itself answered. A road collapsed beneath an armored column. Tanks fell into a pit lined with steel spikes. Explosions tore through the air. Soldiers screamed as hidden charges ignited the vehicles. In moments, dozens were gone. In another district, snipers struck from rooftops. The shots were silent, precise. Aliens fell one after another. Yet no one saw where the bullets came from. When the survivors tried to fire back, more explosions erupted beneath their feet. The aliens screamed in rage, firing wildly at buildings. But the humans had already disappeared. Their shadows melted back into the ruins. It was not a war, it was a hunt. Reports poured in. Ambushes in the forests. Entire squads swallowed by tunnels. Bridges collapsing under alien machines. It was chaos, and everywhere the humans struck, they vanished again, leaving no bodies, only fire and blood. The alien commander's pride began to crack. He demanded answers from his officers, but they could only stammer. "They are everywhere," one whispered. "They know our movements before we do." Another added, "They are using weapons we have never seen." And it was true. Railguns hidden in mountains tore through alien aircraft. Drones, small and fast, slashed through supply lines. Mines buried deep beneath soil destroyed convoys. Humanity's secret war machine was waking. The aliens had thought Earth was weak, but Earth had been preparing for years. In underground bases, in secret labs, in hidden factories, humans had built weapons never shown to the galaxy. Weapons designed only for one purpose, to kill invaders. Every strike was planned, every ambush calculated. Humans did not waste lives, they fought like predators. They attacked, then vanished, leaving fear in their wake. One alien captain reported, his voice shaking. "We walked into a trap," he said. "Every step we take, the humans are waiting." His transmission cut off with a scream. The line went silent. The commander's claws shook. He could not deny it any longer. This was not cowardice, this was not weakness. Humanity was fighting back. In the alien camps, fear grew like fire. Soldiers refused to march at night. They huddled together, eyes darting at every shadow. Some whispered that Earth itself was alive. Others said humans had become demons in the darkness. Rumor was more powerful than truth. In one ruined city, aliens tried to set up a command post in an old skyscraper. They filled the upper floors with weapons and sensors. But during the night, the building collapsed in a storm of fire. Explosives had been planted beneath its foundations long before. Only ashes remained. The aliens realized something they had never faced before. They were not the hunters, they were the hunted from hidden bunkers. Human commanders watched the chaos. Their maps lit with red marks where alien units had been destroyed. "Phase 1 complete," one general said calmly. Another nodded. "They think it is over. But it is only beginning." The trap was revealed, and the aliens had walked straight into it. Now the war would truly begin. The commander stood in silence, looking at Earth from his flagship window. The fires of battle burned across the planet. His soldiers, once filled with pride, now sent desperate calls for help. He clenched his fists, anger and fear twisting inside him. He had wanted to break Earth quickly, but Earth was breaking him instead. And in the shadows of ruined cities, humans whispered to each other. "They think they can take our world," one said. "But Earth is not theirs. It never will be." The night was no longer silent. It echoed with explosions, with screams. With the sound of a war the aliens could never have imagined. The trap was sprung, and the hunters of Earth had begun their deadly work. The terror spreads. The alien camps, once filled with victory songs, had turned into cages of fear. At night, soldiers huddled close to their fires. Clutching their weapons, every shadow looked dangerous. Every sound felt like a warning. They were conquerors no more, they were prey. Whispers spread faster than orders. Some said humans could become invisible. Some swore they saw humans crawling along ceilings like shadows. Others claimed they heard human voices in their heads, whispering threats before entire squads disappeared. The commander tried to stop the rumors. He gave speeches, shouted about strength, punished those who spoke of fear. But even as he spoke, fresh reports arrived of patrols gone missing, convoys destroyed, and officers found dead in their own tents. Killed silently without alarms, alien soldiers began refusing orders. Some would not step into forests, others would not enter tunnels. Many begged to be moved back into orbit. They no longer trusted the planet beneath their feet. In one city, an alien platoon marched down an empty street. The wind whistled through broken windows. They laughed nervously, pretending not to be afraid. Suddenly, the road cracked beneath them. Explosives erupted, buildings collapsed. The few who survived crawled out of the rubble only to find human snipers waiting in the smoke. None returned to camp. Another squad entered a warehouse. They thought it was abandoned. Instead, steel doors slammed shut behind them. The lights flickered off. Their screams echoed for minutes before silence returned. When the doors were opened hours later, the floor was wet with blood, but no alien bodies were found. These stories spread like wildfire. Soldiers told each other in secret. The humans were not fighting for survival. They were hunting for revenge. The alien commander demanded reinforcements from orbit. But even the fleets above grew uneasy. Ships that hovered too low were struck by railgun fire from hidden mountains. Some ships were pulled down by strange magnetic weapons, crashing in firestorms across the land. Soon even orbit did not feel safe. The galaxy had always seen Earth as small and weak. But now the invaders discovered Earth was a trap. The planet itself seemed alive, filled with endless ambushes and hidden enemies. Alien morale collapsed. In one camp, soldiers mutinied against their captain. Demanding to retreat, the captain executed them. But hours later, he was found dead. His throat cut while guards stood only a few steps away. No human was seen, yet the mark of a human knife was clear. Fear was no longer silent. It screamed through the alien army. The proud empire that had crushed 100 worlds now trembled on one. The commander's reports to his superiors grew desperate. "This world is cursed," he admitted. "We cannot see the enemy. Yet they strike everywhere." His superiors laughed at first, thinking he was exaggerating. But as more ships and soldiers vanished, their laughter died. From the forests, humans attacked with drones. From the cities, they used traps. From the oceans, submarines surfaced and destroyed supply lines. Earth's fury came from everywhere. There was no safe place in one ruined district. Aliens found a wall painted with human words, crude and rough but clear. "This is our world," it read. "Leave or die," some soldiers cried when they saw it. The alien army that once shouted victory songs now marched in silence, their heads low, their weapons shaking in their hands. At night, screams echoed from the darkness. Sometimes they were real, sometimes only in their minds. Fear had infected them, body and soul. The humans knew this. They did not rush to victory. They let fear spread. They let the invaders break themselves. And it worked. Alien officers began to argue. Some wanted to retreat, some wanted to burn everything. Their unity cracked, their discipline crumbled. The great army of conquest was turning into fragments of terrified survivors. The commander looked down at Earth from orbit. His claws dug into the metal railing. The fires of war burned everywhere, and no matter how many soldiers he sent, they vanished, he whispered to himself. Why can't we break them? Why can't we see them? But deep in his heart, he already knew the answer. Humanity was not broken, humanity was waiting. Humanity was fighting in silence, with patience, with fury, and the invaders had already learned the truth whispered across the stars. No one ever returns from Earth. The final stand. The alien commander could no longer hide the truth. His army was breaking apart. Soldiers vanished daily, patrols never returned. Even his officers spoke in whispers. Fear had spread deeper than any weapon could cut. He slammed his claw against the table and roared, "Enough hiding, enough shadows. We will crush this planet in one final strike." His voice echoed through the command room. His remaining generals nodded with shaking heads. They had no choice. Retreat was unthinkable. Not for the pride of their empire. From orbit, ships turned their weapons toward the Earth. Fire lit the skies as fleets prepared to descend. Thousands of dropships filled the air, a storm of metal. The ground shook as massive alien walkers landed on plains and cities. Their legs like towers, their weapons glowing with deadly power. The alien army gathered its full might. Every soldier, every tank, every machine, they marched forward, a wall of steel and fire. The commander's voice thundered in their helmets. No more fear, no more running. Crush the humans. Burn their world. The world trembled under the weight of their machines. Buildings collapsed, forests burned. The aliens thought they were finally bringing the end. But the end was not for Earth. In the mountains, hidden doors opened. Railguns, long and silent, powered up. Their barrels glowed. A storm of projectiles ripped through the alien fleet in orbit. Ships exploded, raining fire into the atmosphere. In the oceans, hidden submarines rose, launching missiles into the sky. Alien walkers collapsed into the waves as torpedoes struck their legs. Flames lit the sea and the skies. Human drones swarmed, faster and smaller than the aliens had ever seen. They cut through dropships like knives through paper. Alien soldiers screamed as their transports burned and fell before they touched the ground. and from underground bunkers humans surged upward. Their weapons roared with power the galaxy had never imagined. Energy rifles, rail pistols, mines that turned entire streets into firestorms. Humanity's trap was no longer silent, it was awake. The aliens fired back. Their beams burned buildings, their cannons shattered streets. But for every human that fell, 10 more appeared from tunnels, from rooftops, from shadows. It was no longer whispers in the dark. It was a roar. The commander watched from his flagship as his mighty army collapsed. His soldiers ran in panic. His machines toppled. His ships burst into flames above. He screamed orders. But the chaos drowned his voice. Alien soldiers on the ground threw down their weapons. Some tried to flee, some begged for mercy. But Earth gave no mercy. Not this time. Not after so many had died. One alien officer cried over the radio. "We cannot fight them, they are everywhere. They are everything." His voice ended in static. The galaxy had always thought humans were weak because they had no great empire. But now the truth was clear. Humanity did not build to conquer the stars. Humanity built to protect its home, and for its home, it would unleash horrors beyond imagination. Railguns tore the skies apart. Missiles painted the oceans with fire. Drones turned the skies black with wings. Every street became a battlefield. Every shadow a weapon. The aliens could not escape. They were swallowed whole by Earth's fury. The commander fell to his knees in the flagship. His pride shattered, he whispered to himself. This planet is not weak, this planet is death. Around him, alarms screamed, his ship shook. Human warheads were piercing through his defenses. His fleet was dying above a single world. On the ground, human fighters stood tall in the ruins. Smoke covered their faces, but their eyes burned with fire. One whispered, "This is our world and no one takes it." The final stand was not humanity's. It was the aliens, and they were losing. Earth had shown its true face, the graveyard of invaders. The place no conqueror ever escaped. And the galaxy, watching from afar, would never forget this night. The lesson of Earth. The alien commander's flagship burned in orbit. Flames tore through its hull. Explosions echoed in the black sky. His empire's pride was turning into ashes above the blue planet he had mocked. His claws shook as he stared at the surface below. A surface that had swallowed his soldiers whole. On the ground, the alien army was broken. Tanks smoldered. Walkers lay toppled like broken statues. The once proud soldiers ran like frightened animals. Their weapons scattered. Their voices filled with cries of fear. Humanity had risen from shadows, and now there was no escape. Everywhere the aliens looked, they saw humans. From forests, from tunnels, from mountains. Humanity was no longer hiding. Humanity marched openly through the smoke. Their eyes cold, their weapons burning with fire. They did not need to shout. Their silence was enough. One alien officer tried to surrender, raising his arms. But before his words could leave his mouth, railgun fire tore his unit apart. The humans did not accept surrender. The memory of burned cities and fallen families was too fresh. Earth would give no forgiveness. The commander begged his fleets in orbit to retreat. But there were no fleets left. One by one, the ships fell in firestorms, breaking apart and raining metal into the oceans. The sky lit with fire like stars dying. The galaxy watched. Messages spread across systems. The invasion of Earth had begun with pride, but ended with silence. No reports came from survivors. No soldiers returned to tell the tale. Only the last screams that cut off into static. In secret channels, alien leaders whispered among themselves. "What is this world?" they asked. "Why does no one return?" Fear spread even before the smoke had cleared. Already the name of Earth was turning into a warning. A curse, a shadow across the stars. On the ground, human generals stood in their bunkers. They watched the maps, red dots fading one by one as the enemy was destroyed. "It is done," one said quietly. Another nodded. No one leaves. They had kept their promise. Earth was whole among the ruins. Human survivors emerged. Families stepped out from bunkers. Children stared at the broken alien machines with wide eyes. Soldiers stood tall, their uniforms torn, their faces hard. They had carried the weight of the world, and they had not broken. The last alien stronghold tried to hold out in the ruins of a city. They sent desperate messages to the stars, begging for rescue, but rescue never came. Humanity surrounded them. Fire rained down. When the smoke cleared, nothing remained. The alien commander fell to his knees as alarms blared around him. His flagship cracked apart. Systems failed. He knew the truth now. Earth was not a weak world. Earth was a trap, a graveyard, he whispered his last words. We should never have come. Then his ship exploded in silence. Across the galaxy, other empires listened. Some laughed nervously, saying the invasion force had been weak. Others shook with dread, remembering how many fleets had entered Earth's orbit in the past, how none had returned. The lesson spread faster than fire. Earth was not to be touched, Earth was not to be claimed. To invade Earth was to invite death. Humanity stood in the ruins of its cities, bloodied but unbroken. They raised no new flag. They made no speech. Their silence was the message, a silence louder than any war cry. From that day on, the stars carried a new story. A warning told in whispers, a tale that spread through every empire. Every world, the lesson was simple. The lesson was final. No one invades Earth, and no one ever returns.